Hey everyone. Welcome to Whispers of Turkish Stars. Settle in, because what I'm about to share isn't just a rumor, it's the kind of tender, complicated truth that makes even the most glamorous love stories feel startlingly human. Today's spotlight falls on Erkan Meriç and Hazal Subaşı, a pair whose chemistry has captivated audiences for years, and who now find themselves at the center of a very different conversation, a prenuptial agreement that has everyone talking for reasons no one expected. It isn't a glossy vacation shot or a red carpet whisper that set this off. According to those who move quietly in their circle, Erkan told his confidants something that made journalists stop in their tracks. Hazal cried when I asked to add this clause to the prenup. You could feel the shockwave ripple out from that single sentence. Why? Because what he added wasn't about bank accounts or property. It was something far more intimate. Those close to the couple say that in recent months, away from the cameras and the noise, Erkan and Hazal have been carefully piecing together a future, slowly, intentionally, almost protectively. Wedding preparations, we're told, have been happening in hushed tones in quiet rooms. But during one of those private conversations, a moment arrived that neither of them expected to be so emotional. The document that often drains romance out of celebrity unions suddenly became the place where theirs deepened. Sources insist the clause Erkan proposed isn't about financial safety nets, it's about safeguarding their hearts. He wanted a promise written in black and white that their relationship would never be relegated to a second-place priority behind work. In a world where set calls come before sunrise and scripts arrive at midnight, Erkan asked for something rare. A guarantee that they would build a sanctuary in the chaos. Time together, protected. Boundaries around privacy, respected. Even in the heaviest filming weeks, a commitment to carve out small, non-negotiable moments, a shared meal without phones, a nightly check-in no matter how late, one day every week where the world could wait. You can imagine how it landed. Witnesses to that conversation say Hazal's eyes filled first, then the tears fell. Not from anger. Not from doubt. From relief. From being seen. She reportedly confided to a close friend afterward that it felt like someone had finally read the pages she keeps locked away. It's the first time someone looked straight at my dreams and my worries and gave them a place to breathe. The words alone made even skeptics quiet down. As always, fans took sides online. Some celebrated, calling it proof that love can be fierce and practical. Others wrinkled their noses, saying the mere existence of a prenup pulls the petals off the romance. But Erkan, calm and unwavering, told people close to him that it wasn't a document of doubt. It's an act of devotion, he said, or so it's being whispered. If I didn't trust us, I wouldn't be planning a life with her. This is me protecting what we will be, not questioning what we are. For those who followed them since their earliest days on screen, none of this should be surprising. Their bond has never been loud. It's been steady. And this new chapter only reinforces that image. After that teary moment, sources claim they set the papers aside and talked for hours, long after midnight, about everything that scares them and everything they want. Hazal, we hear, admitted she's still learning how to carry the weight of public attention without losing herself. Erkan, in turn, said he wants to be the steadiness in that storm, to make it easier for her to breathe when the noise gets too loud. Another piece of the clause, the one that stunned insiders most, has to do with how they move in public. It reportedly lays out mutual boundaries around what gets shared and what stays sacred, no strategic oversharing for publicity, no feeding the rumor mill when silence would be kinder. It even mentions mental health explicitly. If either of them starts to feel frayed, the other will slow down too. Therapy isn't taboo, it's encouraged. Family time is ring-fenced. Work remains important, but not at the expense of the person waiting for you at home. When the tears finally eased, those in the know say Hazal wrapped her arms around Erkan and whispered something that made him go quiet. Now I believe you mean forever. That embrace, described as the moment everything shifted, has become a legend in their circle. Since then, whispers suggest they've started circling dates on the calendar with more confidence. Meetings with both families have become more frequent, more comfortable, full of warm laughter and those knowing glances people exchange when they see a future becoming real. If you've been watching Hazal's recent posts, you might have noticed the difference. The extremes have softened, the the posts feel simpler, warmer, snatches of sunlight on a table, a coffee cup by a script, a city view at dusk. Observers say those aren't random, that's the life they're building, quietly, piece by piece. And tucked between lines you can't read is Erkan himself, leaving her little notes on set, appearing between takes with a jacket when the wind kicks up, making sure she never walks into a long day without knowing someone has her back. Here's the twist nobody saw coming: the prenup talk, usually stiff and transactional, has turned into the most convincing evidence of how deeply they care. Friends of the couple say the paperwork isn't just ink on paper, it's a map for the life they want. Every clause points back to one simple vow: love first, careers close behind, but never ahead. For now, they're still keeping details close. There's talk of an engagement announcement or a date reveal in the near future, but no one is ready to put it on a press release yet. That hasn't stopped the rumor mill from spinning itself dizzy. Everyone wants to know the same thing. After a clause that intimate, when will Erkan and Hazal make it official? The world has its ear pressed to the door, waiting for footsteps on the other side. And voices from their inner circle keep adding warmth to the flame. Some of Hazal's closest friends were apparently wary at first, they thought prenups were cold. But once they learned what was in it, their skepticism faded into admiration. A particular detail that calmed everyone down. Erkan is said to have insisted on a promise that he will not allow career fluctuations, hers or his, to put distance between them. If work stumbles, he'll be the safety net. If pressure mounts, he'll make space for her to rest. It wasn't grand, it was practical. And that practicality made the families breathe a little easier. As for timing, don't expect fireworks tomorrow. Both are riding career highs, the demands are real, the schedule's relentless. And yet, the decision not to rush has made them stronger, not uncertain. Those who know them say that Hazal has started telling people she trusts that, for the first time in a long time, the future doesn't look like a question mark. I can look ahead without bracing, she reportedly confided. It says everything. Erkan's words carry a similar weight. When someone teased him about drawing up a rulebook for marriage, he laughed softly and said, "It's not rules, it's our blueprint. A framework. An outline of a home they're building from the inside out. No crowd-pleasing spectacle, no empty gestures. Just two people choosing each other, consistently." Meanwhile, the rumor of a surprise wedding refuses to die. Maybe it's because the silence is so disciplined that people assume something monumental must be around the corner. Fan pages are brimming with guesses, analyzing outfits and locations, triangulating dates based on co-star schedules. Every candid photo becomes a breadcrumb. Every quiet weekend is a possible clue. They pulled back from the spotlight too, and everyone's noticed. Fewer joint appearances, more evenings with a tight-knit circle, and the occasional weekend escape far from the flashbulbs. A walk by the water here, a tucked-away cafe there. In gossip circles, it's being called the calm before the storm, the sort of careful quiet that often preludes a big reveal. Hazal's recent interview only poured oil on the fire. Without naming names, she talked about boundaries with a conviction that felt new. "I've learned what nourishes me and what drains me," she said, and the internet spun with interpretations. Was it a subtle nod to the pact she and Erkan shaped late at night over tea, hands intertwined, phones face down? Fans certainly read it that way, and the speculation multiplied overnight. Through all of this, one theme keeps returning. This is not a romance folded into fame, it's a life being stitched together carefully, away from the center of the stage. The prenuptial clause might be the headline, but it's the subtext that matters. They want evenings with no cameras, family dinners that don't become content, a front door that closes and actually stays closed. They're building a life that protects their tenderness. And that, in this industry, might be the boldest move of all. So where does that leave us? With a love story that feels old-fashioned in the best way, promises made slowly, words chosen carefully, and public pressure met with private strength. Those closest to them are betting we'll hear something official soon, even if soon in their world means measured, thoughtful, and on their terms. Until then, the city hums with guessing games, fan pages light up at the slightest hint, and the rest of us watch two people do something surprisingly rare, grow up together while the world looks on. If the talk inside their circle is any indication, the most important decision has already been made. They've chosen what matters, and they've put it in writing, not to shackle their love but to shelter it. When the day finally arrives, whether it's a quiet garden ceremony or a celebration that spills into midnight, don't be surprised if it looks exactly like the vows they've already started living. Time kept for one another, voices lowered to listen, and a promise that work will never eclipse the person standing at arm's length, right there, waiting to be held. That's the story tonight from Whispers of Turkish Stars. If you felt the heartbeat in these details, subscribe and share so you don't miss what comes next. The door is almost open, and when it swings wide, we'll be right here, bringing you the moment Erkan, Meriç and Hazal Subaşı turn a quiet promise into a lifetime.